Good morning, students. The previous interaction was about the ovulation. So we have seen that to the tune of the hypothalamus pituitary axis, the ovary makes its various changes. The dominant follicle is formed. It forms estrogen in pre-ovulatory phase and progesterone in the post-ovulatory phase. And to the tune of the ovary dances the uterus, and whatever changes that are produced in the uterus in response to the ovarian cycle forms the menstrual cycle. So let's see the definition of menstrual cycle. These are the cyclical changes in uterine endometrium due to the changes in level of estrogen and progesterone. Or you can also define it as periodical and cyclical shedding of progestational endometrium accompanied by the loss of blood. So in this diagram, you can see the at the top you can see the ovarian follicle in various stages. Here you can see the process of ovulation, and this is the corpus luteum. The corpus luteum post ovulation is producing progesterone, while the dominant follicle in the pre-ovulatory phase is producing estrogen. So this estrogen goes and acts on the uterine endometrium and produces changes, and this progesterone also goes and acts in the another phase of the cycle and acts on the endometrium and produces the different set of changes. So all these phases together form the menstrual cycle. So ideally you see the menstrual cycle is made up of three phases. First phase is the menstrual phase, which extends from day 1 to 4. Then comes the proliferative phase, which extends from day 5 to 14. This diagram is taken from net. As you can see, it's written encyclopedia in the bottom. So it is not day 0, it is actually day 1. So day 1 to day 4 is menstrual phase. Phase 5 to 14 is proliferative phase, and 14 to 28 is secretory phase. So you can see estrogen is the dominant hormone in the proliferative phase, while progesterone is the dominant hormone in the secretory phase. So this is another diagram which shows you this is the menstrual phase, proliferative phase, and post-ovulatory the secretory phase. So the proliferative phase extends from day 5 to day 14. At the time when ovary is selecting its dominant follicle, the uterine endometrium is just ending the menstruation. As you can see in this diagram, that the menstrual phase has just ended, and now the uterine endometrium starts proliferating. The dominant follicle has started secreting estrogen. So the estrogen secreted by dominant follicle will induce this phase. The endometrium has two layers, the stratum basale and the stratum functional. Always whenever the post during this menstrual cycle, or during this delivery, or MTP, it is always the stratum functional which is lost. Stratum basal always remain in the uterus. So the stratum functional has been lost during the previous menstruation, and whatever left is the stratum basal. So now this starts proliferating. Estrogen causes all cell types growth in stratum basal. The number of cells increases, the endometrial thickness increases, and there is increased mitotic activity in the endometrium. Now, how this estrogen causes its action? Estrogen can produce all these actions via two ways. The first is the direct action through its receptors. Estrogen acts on alpha and beta receptors, and second mechanism is it can act indirectly by producing the local growth factors. The local growth factors are the insulin growth factors, the epidermal growth factors. So via these two mechanisms, the estrogen produces these actions. The next important thing what the estrogen does is that it starts expressing the receptors of the progesterone, and this is known as the priming of uterus. Now this is very important because post-ovulatory, when progesterone will be secreted, the uterus will already have, the endometrium will already have the receptors for the progesterone, and it will start immediately producing the secretory effect. So one important thing what uterus does in the proliferative phase is that it starts expressing or synthesis of the progesterone receptors in the endometrium. This is the preparation done by the estrogen so that endometrium is ready for the actions of progesterone during the luteal phase or the secretory phase, and this phenomena is called as the priming of the uterus. Then this phase is marked the end of this phase is marked by the ovulation. 14th day, the uterine endometrium switches over to the secretory phase. Now the progesterone secreted by the corpus luteum is responsible for this phase. The first thing progesterone will do is it will exert anti-estrogen effect. Now we don't need estrogen anymore. We don't want any proliferative activity. We now need secretory activity. So we don't need estrogen activity. So what progesterone does is it produces the anti-estrogen effect. And now how does it do so? This anti-estrogen effect is produced by stimulating 17 beta HSD enzymes and sulfotransferase. These enzymes convert estradiol to the weaker compounds. The estrone produced is far less active than estradiol, and the sulfated estrogens are by themselves biologically inactive. So you see, the estrogen produced is now very less active and biologically inactive. So it is unable to produce any further changes. So finally, the proliferation of endometrium under the influence of estrogen stops. Now the secretory phase has begun. Now the epithelial cells exhibit a marked increase in secretory activity by increased amount of endoplasmic reticulum and mitochondria. This increase in secretory activities occur in the anticipation of the arrival and implantation of the blastocyst. This secretory phase is divided into the early and the late phase. The early phase is characterized by the development of network of interdigitating tubules within the nucleolus of the endometrial epithelial cells. These tubes are referred to as the nucleolar channel systems, and the progesterone produced by the corpus luteum stimulates their development. Now the middle to the late secretory phase, it is comprised of, first thing, the vascularization of the endometrium increases. As you can see in the diagram, you can see the blood vessels have become the tortuous, and this proliferated endometrium will be filled with the large amount of the secretions. The endometrial glands become engorged with secretions and become tortuous. The glycogen content of the endometrium increases, and the thickness of the endometrium also increases. The maximal secretory activity is achieved at day 20 to 21 of the menstrual cycle. The changes in endometrium are not limited to the glands. They also occur in stromal cells between the glands. And during the late luteal phase, the corpus luteum, if the pregnancy does not occur, dies out, and if the fertilization occurs, remains or persists. So what happens if the this ovum was the post ovulation, this ovum was not fertilized? Now what will happen? This corpus luteum will finally degenerate, and the progesterone levels will go down, and it will lead to the arrival of the menstrual phase. Now during this period, the menstrual phase, now we are talking about the menstrual phase. During this period, the spiral arteries go into the spasm and then relax. This period of cycle is sometimes referred to as ischemic phase. As the cells begin to die, the hydrolases are released from the lysosomes and causes the further breakdown of the endometrium. Now you all know that during the menstrual phase what happens, these arteries, they go under erosion and they start bleeding here and there, and the endometrium is also flawed off. So post ovulatory, if this ovum has been fertilized, then the corpus luteum would have persisted, this menstrual flow would have not occurred, this phase would have not come, and what would have happened, this endometrium, this secretory phases of endometrium would have been maintained, and the corpus luteum would have continued producing progesterone, and the preparation for the pregnancy has gone full blown. But now when the ovulation has not occurred, this corpus luteum degenerates, the progesterone levels flow down, then what comes next? Next comes the menstrual phase. So the stratum functionale is shed off, the prostaglandin production increases as a result of activation of phospholipase liberated from the lysosomes. The necrosis of vascular cells lead to the microhemorrhage. The volume of blood loss is approximately 50 to 80 ml. Now one thing very important is that why the menstrual blood does not clot. It is because the endometrial tissue causes the release of fibrinolescence. So this is why the blood does not clot in the uterine cavity. If a lady complains to you that she is passing clots, then you must interpret that she is undergoing huge bleeding, because there is a certain amount in which this enzyme is produced. If the bleeding is more than its amount, the blood starts clotting. So the clots in the menstrual blood itself indicates that the lady is undergoing heavy bleeding. So I'll show you a flow chart. Sorry, we don't have this flow chart here. So you can see the menstruation starts at menarche, which is usually 12 to 13 years in female, and stops at menopause, which is 48 years. The menstrual cycle is of 28 days usually, but it can vary from 28 days to 32 days. And it is made up of three phases: the menstrual phase, the proliferative phase, and the secretory phase. The endometrial changes proceed in orderly fashion in response to cyclical hormone production by ovaries. So it is not this secretory phase can come first, or the proliferative phase can come later on. It is always the menstrual phase, the proliferative phase, and the secretory phase. Now one thing you must have got confusion is that proliferative phase, secretory phase, and this menstrual phase. So this menstrual phase is of this cycle or the next cycle. एक्चुअली ये मेंस्ट्रुअल फेज जो है ये नेक्स्ट साइकिल का है. ये वाला जो मेंस्ट्रुअल फेज हुआ था ये हुआ था पिछले साइकिल की एक्टिविटीज की वजह से. दैट मीन्स कि अगर किसी लेडी का हम मार्च का साइकिल है, मार्च में उसको 14 मार्च को ओवुलेशन हुआ, 14 to 28 उसको सिक्रेटरी एक्टिविटी रही, ओवम का फर्टिलाइजेशन नहीं हुआ, तो जो अप्रैल का उसका मेंस्ट्रुअल फ्लो आएगा दैट विल बी बिकॉज द ओवम हैज बीन नॉट फर्टिलाइज्ड इन द मंथ ऑफ द मार्च. सो यू सी कि जो ये वाला मेंस्ट्रुअल फेज होता है ये पिछले साइकिल की कहानी बताता है. तो आई होप दिस क्लियर्स विद द कंफ्यूजन. So proliferative phase, as you can see, is under the influence of the estrogen and extends from day 5 to 14. The estrogen is secreted from the follicle, is responsible for this phase. At the time when ovary is selecting its dominant follicle, the uterine endometrium is just ending the menstruation. So dominant follicle secretes estrogen and estrogen induces the proliferative phase. Now, due to the estrogen, the number of cells in the endometrium increases, the mitotic activity increases, and the endometrial thickness increases. Estrogen can produce its action via two ways: direct via its receptors and indirect via the autocrine and paracrine factors. Direct effects are produced by the estrogen alpha receptors and beta receptors, while the indirect effects are produced by the growth hormones, which are produced locally, the insulin-like growth factors, and the epidermal growth factor. Now, we have already discussed about the priming. The estrogen receptors are maximum during the proliferative phase. Now, estrogen is producing its action in full swing. The next thing estrogen does is it expresses the progesterone receptors in the endometrium, which is known as the priming. This is one of the important action of the estrogen. Endometrial thickness keeps on increasing, the proliferation of blood vessels occur, and the last day of this phase is marked by the ovulation. Now the uterine endometrium will switch over to the secretory phase, and this secretory phase is produced under the influence of progesterone, and this progesterone is produced by the corpus luteum. And you know, the first thing progesterone will do is the एंटी एस्ट्रोजन इफेक्ट. और कैसे ला रही है ये अपने एंटी एस्ट्रोजन इफेक्ट? इफ यू रिमेंबर, वी हैव ऑलरेडी डिस्कस्ड इन द सेकंड स्लाइड कि एक तो बायोलॉजिकली इनएक्टिव एस्ट्रोजन्स बना रही है और वीक एस्ट्रोजन बना रही है. और प्रोजेस्टेरोन ऐसा करती क्यों है? क्योंकि अब यूट्रस को प्रोलिफरेटिव चेंजेस चाहिए ही नहीं, उसे तो सिक्रीटरी एंडोमेट्रियम चाहिए. सिक्रीटरी एंडोमेट्रियम क्यों चाहिए? क्योंकि बॉडी एंटिसिपेट कर रही है कि फर्टिलाइजेशन होगा और एम्ब्रियो आएगा, उसके इम्प्लांटेशन के लिए तैयारी करनी है, उसकी न्यूट्रिशन की तैयारी करनी है, विंडो ऑफ रिसेप्टिविटी बनानी है. तो ऑल दिस विल बी प्रोड्यूस्ड ड्यू टू दी progesterone. So they don't need estrogen now. So the first thing progesterone will do is it will produce anti-estrogen effect by producing the weak estrogens or biologically inactive estrogen. So we have already discussed that the anti-estrogen effect is produced by 17 beta HSD and sulfotransferase enzymes, and they convert the estrogen into estradiol, the weaker compounds of the estrogen. Now the secretory changes you have seen, a lot amount of secretory activity is enhanced in the uterine endometrium. The blood vessels become engorged with blood and become tortuous, and the glands, the endometrial glands, they are also filled up with glycogen, vitamins and many nutrients, growth factors, and they become large and tortuous and engorged with the secretions. So we have already discussed this, that secretory phase is divided into early and middle to late. And all this secretory activity is being designed to welcome the embryo. बॉडी हर साइकिल में ऐसे ही तैयारी करती है, जैसे फर्टिलाइजेशन होगा और एम्ब्रियो आएगा, वो इम्प्लांट होगा, and we will be welcoming the embryo, and till the placenta takes over, the uterine endometrium will be looking after the nutrition of the embryo. So this secretory phase is the preparation for all these things. So early secretory phase is characterized by the development of the network of interdigitating tubes within the nucleolus of the endometrial cells. These tubes are referred to as the nucleolar channel systems, and progesterone stimulates these changes. In middle to late secretory phases, the vascularization of the endometrium occurs, the glycogen content increases, the thickness of endometrium increases, and the endometrial glands become tortuous and engorged. The next thing which occurs here is that stromal cells also become the predecidual cells. This preparation is also done for the pregnancy. And what is predecidualization? When the stromal cells develop a eosinophilic cytoplasm with a prominent Golgi apparatus, you call it a predecidualization. Uterine glands secrete nutrient-rich products inside them to feed the embryo, and maximum secretory activity is seen at 20 to 21 day. The window of receptivity is formed. We were talking about it in previous slide. So what is window of receptivity? When the this embryo will come from the fallopian tube and it will come down to the cavity of the uterine endometrium, what progesterone will do, it will make the uterine endometrium adhesive, थोड़ी सी ना स्टिकी बना देगी. तो जैसे ही वो एम्ब्रियो नीचे आएगा, it will be attracted towards the wall of the uterine endometrium, and then the embryo will implant itself. So this is known as the window of receptivity. Now what has happened? The fertilization has not occurred post ovulation and the corpus luteum has died out. The levels of the hormones go down and the menstrual phase starts. The corpus luteum has died. There is sudden withdrawal of the progesterone. The levels of the hormones are low, and all this leads to the shedding of the stratum functionale. Due to the withdrawal of the progesterone, the endometrium shrinks, the spiral arteries also shortens, and this hampers the circulation of the vessel wall. The ischemic necrosis of the endometrium occurs. We have already discussed that various enzymes are secreted from the lysosomes of the endometrial cells. The prostaglandins productions also start, and there is secretion of huge amount of kind of enzymes which causes the lysis in the walls of the uterine arteries. So what happens? The uterine arteries undergoes ischemic necrosis. They start bleeding, the blood starts oozing out, and the endometrium also starts sloughing off. So we have already discussed this thing. The oozing remains for 3 to 4 days. So menstrual cycle usually extends from for 5 days. We have already discussed that blood does not clot as fibrinolysin is released from the endometrium. If the amount of bleeding is more, then this fibrinolysin will fall short and the lady will complain of passing clots during the menstrual phase. So if a lady is saying that she is passing clots, you must interpret that fibrinolysin is not adequate for the amount of blood she is bleeding. So the blood is clotting in the uterine endometrium. So this is one of the important physiological basis asked in question paper, that why the blood does not clot, the menstrual blood does not clot in endometrium. So this is again the diagram which is revising you all the phases of the ovary, of the uterus, and the levels of various hormones in the various phases. Again, this is a very important diagram, and this is often asked as the question. With this, we end the menstrual cycle. Thank you so much.